OnePlus 8 Pro, what was compromised? This is what I want to talk to you about today, because this mid-range, top-tier, budgeted flagship device came out a couple weeks ago, close to about a month ago. This is the first time I've owned a OnePlus Pro device, and maybe you as well. And you're thinking to yourself, have I compromised my Pro features for a OnePlus device versus another device? Is there something that I'm missing out on? Is there a feature that it's lacking? That's kind of what I want to run through with you today. I want to share with you guys my overall experience with the OnePlus 8 Pro and my journey with this device, because it hasn't always necessarily been easy. The Glacier Green starts out right now at $899, and you can get that on OnePlus's website. That is 128 gigs of RAM with 8 gigs of storage. And I know what you're thinking. Why only 8 gigs of RAM if this is a Pro device? Well, 8 gigs of RAM, even in a Pro device, is still pretty good. So OnePlus is still in the lead, in my opinion, when it comes to pricing with a Pro type of device. The only caveat about Glacier Green right now is they're sold out. So you can't really buy one for $899. They went like hotcakes and now they are gone. So keep your eye out. You can go ahead and go over to the OnePlus website, go to purchase, and then at the bottom you can click notify me and you can get an email when that device becomes available. Now you can jump up for $999 and get the Onyx Black or the Ultra Marine, which is what we have right here. And that will be 256 gigs of storage with 12 gigs of RAM. That is an insane amount of RAM to go into a smartphone. My first computer legit, I think, had 4 gigs of RAM. It might have even had 2 gigs of RAM, and I upgraded it to 4, and I was like, oh, I'm doing good now. But like 12 gigs of RAM in a smartphone, just let that soak in. That's a lot. So I have some feelings about OnePlus when it comes to them and as a brand. And I want to share those feelings with you. They started off as the flagship killer, the budget phone to beat all budget phones. And they came to the market with incredible pricing. We were seeing prices like $499, $599, then they started creeping up to $699, and then $799, then $899, and then $999. So it's just like the prices kept going up. But I feel that their big, strong, solid core fan base, which I'm not saying I'm not a fan, but I am not their fan base, are people that want those lower quality specs a little bit, right? With top tier looks, because their phones always look amazing, and they pick and choose what features that they want to put in there. They made decisions based on budget for their core base in order to keep the phone as affordable as possible. With the introduction of the OnePlus 8 Pro, it's a whole new ballgame out there. This device is not built for their core fan base. So if that's you out there and you're salty and sour and you are just like, what is going on? Who put sawdust in my Cheerios when I look at this phone? It's probably not for you. OnePlus as a brand has evolved, and they are evolving. They're not done, and they're growing, and they're changing, and they are starting to take some market shares. It is now focusing on gunning for Samsung, gunning for Apple. And if you think I'm wrong, you can go in the comments and tell me why you think I'm wrong. But I think devices like this, specs like this, slowly working their way up, the company is going to get there. So it's not going to be too long before we start seeing a $1,200 or $1,300 flagship from OnePlus. We're not quite at the high-end range yet, even though this is a Pro device. I do want you to know there's room for a little bit of improvement, right? And we'll get into that in just a minute. Thanks, Nomadic Gear, for supporting the channel. I'm kind of known for spending a ridiculous amount of money on luggage and high-end backpacks. Then I came across Nomadic bags, and I absolutely fell in love with the Nomadic backpack, and now I'm in love with the Nomadic Carry-On Pro. This is a 2-bag-in-1 type of deal, and it will not disappoint you. If you're in the market for some new luggage, a messenger bag, or a backpack that's big enough to take on a trip and still carry on the plane, then look no further. Take a moment and check them out. Link is in the description. Don't forget to click on the red sale link at the top of the page. You'll thank me later. Back to the video. How do I say this? I had a lot of frustration when attempting to activate my purchased from OnePlus 8 Pro device on the Verizon network and it being sold as unlocked. Because even their keynote was very, very deceptive because they were flashing Verizon as a carrier in their keynote. And it was a bit of a mess. And I can't go into it now because that's a whole video. That's actually 2 videos. So I might go ahead and link both of them up here for you. If not, they'll be in the description. But to say that I was disappointed in OnePlus and how they handled the launch of their unlocked device is an understatement. Great news is I did eventually get it to work, and we will just leave it at that. Since launch, this device has had 3 updates, I believe. And again, if I'm wrong, crawl down to the comments. Tell me, for the love of tech, you're wrong. You don't know what you're talking about. For the love of tech, you don't love tech. You never know. Woo! And the last update had a beefy, meaty, juicy update when it came to the camera. Now, exactly what it updated, I don't really know. I can't really tell. People tell me I should, but I can't. I don't know, maybe I need my eyes checked. But I think there were enhancements, there were improvements. Overall, the camera, if I have to rate it on the scale of 1 to 10, I'm gonna give this camera a solid 7.5. We're missing some features. I think OnePlus made a big blunder and they focused on some filters, if you will, and now they're trying to hide or bury the settings within the filters. Watched a really great video. Can't remember who made that video, but I'm gonna go ahead and look for it. If I can remember, I'll go ahead and link it there. If not, in the description. It has this filter called Photochrome, which has this very interesting effect, which is alleged under certain conditions can see through clothing. OnePlus created a spy cam, little peep cam, if you will. Now, is it quite X-ray vision? Not quite X-ray, but I have no facts or evidence. Under certain conditions with certain color clothing that you could go ahead and take a picture and snap it of somebody and they're just all exposed. This was clearly not OnePlus's intention, as I would assume. However, it still is in the settings. You gotta dig it out. It's not easy to find. And in addition to that, well, sometimes when I go on my camera and I go to use it, it's not there. So that's either a glitch or it's intentional. And OnePlus is again trying to hide it. There's some weird stuff going on with that lens. And I wanna talk to you about the battery. The battery on this device is probably a solid, I'm gonna give it a 7.5. It does drain relatively quickly. It does not hold a charge very long. It is a very powerful device. I have the 120 hertz display on, so that definitely drains the battery. So given that with this, I'm okay because it's the software I'm using, it's the hardware that I've purchased, and I'm making a decision to take the 120 hertz and the battery and have a compromise. So again, how does OnePlus fix, solve, give us a solution? They give us this phenomenal 30-watt Warp charger, which we also now have a Warp 30 wireless charger that I have very little confidence in, and I want you to know that. It does a little weird thing when you put the phone on the charger. It sometimes balances itself off. If you're having problems with your Warp 30 charger, I want to know about it. I want you to tell me. No other device or phone that I have can use the Warp 30 technology. If I put my Pixel on there, it doesn't warp or fast charge. If I put my S20, it doesn't. To go ahead and wrap up the video, the question is, what are we sacrificing as far as features, as far as functionality, as far as software, hardware, in order to own, use, and daily drive this device right here? Well, I'm not giving up the battery because it's a decent battery, but it definitely has perks with the Warp 30, wireless or wired. It's got a decent camera that I suspect will continue to get better over time. Is it the screen, the memory, the user experience? I've been on a journey with this device. First, started with my S20 Ultra, and then I got it and I moved over and flopped that over onto the Verizon network. Come to find out, I couldn't use it on the Verizon network even though it was unlocked. I had to wait, I had to pray, I had to do a lot of Googling and Twittering and everything else on Reddit, and I finally found someone at Verizon to help me, and I got my device activated. What I wasn't able to do was get RCS activated, and I really like my RCS. I couldn't get it to activate, so I went back to my S20 Ultra, and then I was on my S20 Ultra, and I just missed the hell out of the OnePlus 8 Pro. So I took drastic measures, and I did a system reset. I completely wiped the phone and started from scratch, put in my SIM card, activated it, and boom, everything worked great. RCS, no problems. It was good. It was happy. It was on the Verizon network. No problems, no concerns, no issues, no compromises. and that's what I want you to know. If you decide that the OnePlus 8 Pro needs to be part of your life, and you're okay with Android or iOS, and it really doesn't matter, you don't got a dog in the fight, then I would say the OnePlus 8 Pro is definitely a device that should catch your attention. I know it has mine. Thanks for watching the video. Like, comment, subscribe, share my content with your friends and family on social media, and for the love of tech, till next time, namaste.